Vidhammer Fantasy.
Welcome back to Vidhammer. This is Spudlow, and in this video we'll be covering a 2,500 point dawn attack engagement between the Empire and the Beastmen armies using the 8th edition rules. Our playing surface is 1 foot wider than regulation, so the outermost 6 inches on the left and right sides of the screen are considered to be off of the board. The terrain pieces consist of 2 forests and 2 hills in the alternating corners and a 3-story building in the center. The Empire win the roll for board edge and choose the left side to deploy in. The Beastmen now add a terrain piece of their own with a snake fountain that acts as a shard of the herdstone. The shard gives an extra power die to each caster within 6 inches. The Empire roll a d6 for each unit to see which section it deploys in, starting with a unit of 40 greatswords with great weapons, with an attachment of 20 halberdiers, along with a Captain BSB and a level 4 warrior priest general that all go in the left deployment zone. 40 Free Company militia with 2 hand weapons and a warrior priest get their choice of deployment and come down next to the greatswords. The central zone gets overpopulated with 20 handgunners accompanied by a level 4 wizard lord, 2 hellblasters, and a great cannon, while a steam tank goes in the right deployment area. Finally, the Empire's cavalry block of 10 knights of the inner circle have to come down in the center and don't have enough room to deploy at the front. The Beastmen start their deployment with a unit of 49 Bestigors with great weapons, accompanied by a Wargore BSB, a great Bray Shaman, and 2 level 1 Bray Shaman that go in the center. 40 Gores with 2 hand weapons also come down in the center, while a Doom Bull gets his choice and goes above the hill. 1 Tuskgore Chariot goes on the left, while 2 more go in the center, and the Beastmen hold back their last unit of 40 Gores as ambushers. In spell generation, the Empire's Wizard Lord gets Light of Battle, Net of Ammontok, Banishment, and Barona's Time Warp. The Beastmen's level 1 Bray Shaman get Bestial Surge and Wyson's Wild Form, while their Great Bray Shaman ends up with Withering, Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, Penumbral Pendulum, and Occam's Mind Razor. The Empire start the first turn, moving their handgunners over to let the cavalry through, and moving the Hellblasters up 1 inch to be in range. In the magic phase, Winds of Magic and Channeling gives the Empire 11 power dice against 5 dispel dice. They cast Banishment to put a single wound on a chariot, and Barona's Time Warp on the cavalry gets Irresistible Force, and the wizard saves a wound from the backlash. For shooting, the Great Cannon takes out 5 Bestigors, and the Steam Tank shoots for the lower chariot, but the shot sticks in the ground. For the Beastmen, the ambushers arrive on the Empire's rear edge as the rest of the line moves up. For magic, the Beastmen get 12 power dice against 7 dispel dice. They use 4 dice for Bestial Surge to move the Bestigors forward 7 inches. They use 6 dice to get Wyson's Wild Form on the Bestigors with Irresistible Force and lose their last 2 dice to the miscast. On the second turn, the Free Company charge the central chariot, which flees. The Free Company redirect into the Gores, but fail the distance and move 6 inches. The Great Swords charge the Doom Bull and fail, moving 3 inches. The Steam Tank makes it to the Bestigors. The Wizard Lord runs out of the handgunners towards the building, and the handgunners have to move to the right again so the cavalry can wheel on their way out. Winds of Magic gives the Empire 7 power dice against 4 dispel dice. They use 3 dice for Net of Ammontok on the flanking Gores that gets dispelled, and 4 dice for Barona's Time Warp at the higher level, which fails. For shooting, the Hellblaster takes out 6 Gores from the flanking unit as the cannon falls short. In the first close combat phase, the Steam Tank takes out 11 Bestigors in impact hits before it takes 4 wounds in return, and the Steadfast Bestigors pass their break check. On the Beastmen's turn, the lower chariot gets a flank charge on the Steam Tank, the Doom Bull and upper Gores charge the Free Company militia, and the flanking Gores charge the first Hellblaster. The chariot flees another 7 inches, and the other units move up. Winds of Magic and bonus dice give the Beastmen 9 power dice against 5 dispel dice. They attempt Wyson's wild form that gets dispelled with a scroll, and Withering that gets dispelled with a dice. In close combat, the Chariot's impact hits fail to wound the steam tank, but the normal attacks do 3 wounds, and the BSB adds another. The Bestigors reform and slide down. In the rear combat, the Hellblaster gets vaporized, and the Gors overrun into the second Hellblaster. In the upper combat, the Doom Bull does 3 wounds and impact hits, and 2 more from normal attacks. The rest of the Gors do 3 wounds, as the Free Company take out 11 Gors before losing 1 more to a stomp. The Empire wins the combat, with the Beastmen passing their break tests. On the third turn, the Great Swords charge the Doom Bull. The steam tank blows up but isn't able to take anyone else out. The Wizard enters the building, and the Inner Circle Knights reform to face the flanking Gors. In the Magic phase, the Empire get 3 power dice against 3 dispel dice. As their only spell, they use all 3 dice to attempt Baroness Time Warp on the Free Company, but it gets dispelled with a scroll. For shooting, the handgunners kill the Blue Bray Shaman, and the cannon fails to wound. In close combat, the rear Gors kill the second Hellblaster and overrun into the Inner Circle Knights. In the multi-unit combat, the Doom Bull kills the BSB and the Gors do 13 wounds to the Free Company, who do 5 wounds in return, and the Great Swords put 3 wounds on the Doom Bull. The Gors win the combat, but the Empire pass their break tests. For the Beastmen's turn, the Bestigors charge the handgunners who stand and shoot and get 4 wounds. The upper chariot charges the Great Swords, and the Halberdiers countercharge as the fleeing chariot runs off the board. Winds of Magic gives the Beastmen 8 power dice against 7 dispel dice. They use 6 dice to attempt Melkoth's Miasma on the handgunners, which the Empire weren't going to dispel, but after consideration, they decide to hold back 4 dice to go against the Beastmen's final 2 dice, giving them 3 dice to attempt a dispel, and they get Irresistible Force. The induced vomiting from the Beastmen player ends the Magic phase. In the lower combat, the Wargore does 3 wounds to the handgunners, the Shaman fails to wound, the handgunners do 2 wounds, and the Bestigors do 11, cutting down the handgunners when they flee and overrunning into the cannon. In the central combat, the Gors hit the Knights for 12 wounds, but they all get saved. The Knights take out 7 and win the combat, but the Steadfast Gors pass their break test. In the upper combat, the Chariot gets an impact hit on the Great Swords that gets saved. The Doom Bull hits the Free Company for 5 wounds, and the Gors do 12 more. The War Priest and last remaining Free Companymen put 2 wounds on the Gors. The Halberdiers get 5 wounds on the Chariot, but it saves 3. The Wargore takes out 1 Great Sword, and the Great Swords finish off the Chariot and get 3 wounds on the Doom Bull, who saves them all before stomping another Great Sword. The Empire lose the combat with the remaining Free Company Standard Bearer fighting to the last as the Warrior Priest runs 9 inches. The Gors attempt to overrun, but there's no way to close the door with the Knights, so they stop short. We had a late start for this game, and players had to tend to previous obligations at this point, so we couldn't finish the match. If you think you know how things would have turned out, leave us a comment and let us know. Hope you've enjoyed this battle report. Be sure and check back for new videos each week. Do us a favor and subscribe, like the video if you want to see more, and send us a message if you have any tactics or matchups you'd like to see. Till next time for the Vidhammer crew, keep fighting.